As we continue going through the book of Job, chapter 38, looking at the marvelous acts of God, the creations of God, the sustaining of the creation that God has created, the wonders of this universe that we really can't fathom. We can't. It's beyond us. And that's what God is pointing out to Job. In Job's attempts to control God and to convince God that God's ways are wrong, the Lord is showing him the magnificence of himself, the wonders of the universe that are so far beyond us and so far beyond the individual. And as Job gets a glimpse of the bigger picture of what God is and what God has done and what God is doing, it will reshape his worldview, reshape the way he sees life, reshapes the way he sees himself, and reshapes the way he sees God. And I suggest to you this is the essence of what we're getting in the book of Job at this point, are the reshaping of the way we consider and think about God and ourselves. And so we're looking now at some of the other ways that the Lord's magnificence is seen. We've looked at the oceans. We've looked at the sun, the rising of the sun and the setting of the sun. In verse 16, he moves to the depths of the sea, goes back to the oceans. He says, have you entered into the springs of the sea or walked in the recesses of the deep? So have you ever actually gone to the depths of the sea, Job? Now, Job obviously probably had been on the sea, seen the sea, maybe swam in the sea, I don't know. But has he ever been to the depths of the sea? It's really quite amazing to think about it. There are things in the ocean, in the very deepest points of the ocean, that most likely we have never yet seen. With all of our technology, with all of our equipment and submarines and divers and all these things, the ocean in places is so deep that once in a while some creature or some thing shows up that the scientists have never seen. And we're blown away at what we've seen. And it gives us quite the curiosity, I think. What could be down there? What could be down below the ability for us to go at this point that no one on earth has ever seen? And yet to think that God has created beings, creatures that live in those depths that no submarine could ever dive to. That's very likely. And so he's saying to Job, have you ever been to the depths of the sea? Do you know what's down there? Do you know what I have created? Things that no one else even knows about? No, you haven't, because you are not God, and you do not understand my ways. How about verse 17 and death? Have the gates of death been revealed to you? Or have you seen the gates of deep darkness? Well, we know, Job knew, we know that we die. Everybody dies. It is appointed unto man once to die. And after that, the judgment. We all die. Everybody has died, except for two people in history that God took to be with him, Elijah and Enoch. But death awaits us. But what do we know about death? You know, when death shows up, sometimes we act like it's a big surprise, right? Like, how did this happen? But it happens, and it happens to all of us. But what do we know about death? It's such a mystery. We have a person here that was alive, and we were talking to them yesterday, and they had ideas and whatever. They were laughing, they were crying, whatever. And today they're gone. The body's there, but the spirit is gone, and they are dead. And what happens next? Even the atheists of this world say, well, what's next? What goes beyond death? What exactly is death? What is happening next? People don't know. And God says to Job, do you know that? Have you been to the gates of death? Have you walked into the corridors of the dead? Do you know what that looks like? No, you don't. God does. God knows exactly what's going on, but you don't. And so death is yet another mystery that you and I have very little real knowledge of, except what is revealed in the scriptures, and that is as far as we can go. And then he talks in verse 18 at the expanse of the earth. He says, have you understood the expanse of the earth? Tell me if you know all of this. Well, Job was pretty much earthbound and very much limited to how far he could go at that time. He didn't have airplanes or cars or Pretty much anywhere he went, he either rode a donkey or he walked. So his world was very limited. But even today, this huge world, it's fun to watch the nature shows and see all the things all over this globe, the expanse of the earth. Do we really understand all these marvels, all these different systems that are around our planet? What a joy to learn about those things. We have privileges that Job didn't have, but even we don't know. There's so much we don't know, and so much we marvel at when we really take a good look at God's earth. Job didn't know these things. God not only knew them, he created them, and he controls them for his own purposes. We'll look at another set of things that God has done and marvel at him again tomorrow. Hope you can join us.